We're now joined on stage by Cassius Marsh, second-year defensive lineman. Cassius, thank you very much for being here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
This is one of my favorite things we do each week is get a chance to really kind of meet some of the members of the team that everybody goes nuts for. And this is your second year here, your first full season. How are you feeling right about now?
Good, man. Good. The team's playing well, and we're having fun out there, so feeling great.
Cassius, tell us about your first year. Now, were you frustrated last year? Because I think I saw you at the Super Bowl, having Mexican food. I was at the same restaurant, and it was the night before. You knew you weren't going to play. And, talk about that and how much better it was coming back your second year.
That was my first time. I had never, not been a part of a championship game or not been a part of any type of season. It was my first time being hurt. So the whole season was rough for me, but it's amazing to be, with the team and making it all the way through the season and making some plays for the team, helping us win, I feel privileged to be healthy.
Yeah, it's tough when you come from college and you're at the top of the heap, and then all of a sudden you get in the NFL, and especially your rookie year, and you're not being part of it. That's pretty rough going through that. It probably makes you appreciate this year much more that you're getting a chance to play, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the NFL it's just all about patience, unless you could be the first, second-round pick, or the team has an immediate need, then you got to wait. And when you're drafted by a team like the Seahawks, they've got great defensive linemen, a lot of depth, and they build through the draft. And I'm just waiting my turn and trying to get better every day and make plays when I can.
Take you back to your UCLA days. I was reading where it came down. You went to Oaks Christian. By the way, Bellevue High School played Oaks Christian a couple of years ago and beat them. Just figured you were listening to that.
Oh, you just had to stick.
Senior year, and I think we played Skyline. Another team up here.
That was the year before.
Yeah, we definitely won that game. So.
You did. I remember that one. But you were. It was down to LSU and UCLA, and you had actually committed to LSU. Mm-hmm. Take us back there. Who was coaching at the time for UCLA, and what made you end up going to UCLA instead of LSU?
Well, I was going to LSU. I have my family's from Baton Rouge, so all my family LSU fans, and took an official visit, had a great time, and Les Miles, they always had defensive guys going, in the top 3 rounds and stuff like that. But I want to stay closer to home, and USC was in a little bit of trouble at the time, and so that wasn't really an option for me, and they wanted me to go there, but. I just didn't think that it was the best decision for me, and so UCLA was the pick.
We're talking.
I'm sorry. Was Neuheisel at the time recruiting you?
Oh yeah. So Coach Neuheisel was there. He was there, but a guy named Todd Howard recruited me. He was the defensive line coach there. Still, one of my favorite defensive line coaches I've had. He's coaching in Saskatchewan now. But yeah, so it was Todd Howard and Coach Neuheisel.
We're talking to Cassius Marsh here, and halfway through your UCLA career, they made a coaching change down there. And I remember talking to you at the scouting combine about the first thing I remember there is they introduced him as Cassius Marsh. And I remember because I was sitting at the table with him, and he kind of shakes his head and he goes, Cassius, after the best boxer of all time. It's not a tough name.
Yeah, I don't know anybody other than Cassius Clay named Cassius, that's famous. So I don't, if you see that name, you would think that you would recognize it, especially when you're at this, the NFL Combine, like Sports World. You would think they would know the name Cassius, but I guess not.
He got Cassius. But then the other thing, and I remember you saying this, is that the impact Jim Mora had on your time there at UCLA.
Yeah, he definitely changed the culture, within the whole school, within the whole program, and brought toughness. He got a lot of guys out of there, immediately when he got there, and just did a lot of great things. He brought in great coaches, and we were able to win some games and do some great things, do what we planned to do. When my recruiting class came to UCLA, we had a big plan, and Coach Moore came in and helped us achieve that.
Cassius, we got a chance to interview you one time, and your mom was in the room. And she said actually you were a difficult child. I bet you if you ask every NFL player's mom, they would say, yeah, he was a difficult child, right?
Well, yeah. If you're a football player, especially defensive players, you're a little bit, you're a little bit different probably. You got a little aggression in you, probably a quick trigger and all kinds of things going on. So when you're young, it's even worse.
Yeah, I'm probably not offensive players, just defensive players, probably.
I mean, just mainly defensive players. Some offensive players are mean.
Yeah. Well, tell us about Sweezy. There's one.
But he played defensive line in college.
That's true.
He's a defensive player playing an offensive position.
I've determined that if I were to play in a game against Sweezy, I would absolutely hate him, which is the highest compliment I can pay him.
For offensive linemen, that is exactly what they want. It's exactly what they want. They want to get in your head and frustrate you.
What do you see when you watch Sweezy? Because every game, I swear, there's 2 or 3 plays where he will just take a guy and drive him 10 yards back.
Yeah, I mean, he plays like a defensive line. I love the way Sweezy plays. I mean, he's inspiration for the whole team. He sparks guys' performances all the time, with big plays. And, when he cuts downfield, he gets moving downfield. I mean, he's a great player.
Well, tell us about the rest of your family, Cash. Because do you have a brother that is he still playing in the league?
No, he was with the Broncos week 1, and I think they brought somebody back off suspension, and unfortunately, he was let go. But he's at home training and stuff. But yeah, that's my older brother, Curtis.
You have a motor coming out of UCLA. You definitely stood out. I mean, everybody watched you, but you were about 255, 260. I'm guessing, maybe a little bit lighter than that. So, hybrid linebacker, defensive end. Last year they played around with you. That night it looks like you're settled in at defensive end. But where do you see your career being? Do you see yourself as the defensive end the rest of your career?
I mean, I always want to put my hand in the dirt. I think in some type of way I'll always be a rusher. That's always going to be a part of me, rushing the passer. But, I think I am versatile in that way. But, I'm just looking to try and get better at everything I do. If the coaches ask me to play linebacker, that's what I'll play. But right now they're asking me to play defensive line, so that's what I'm doing.
What has Averill and Bennett taught you from when you first came into the league as a pass rusher to where you are today? What is the thing you probably learned the most?
Hands and get off. Mike B's hands are outstanding. I mean, he's probably, in my opinion, has the best hands in the NFL. And then Cliff, get off. So, between the two, they're the best examples of both things.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people think that it's about, squats and bench press and all these things. But, man, your hands and your feet in the NFL are so vital and getting good at that. What kind of things do you do? Do you do anything in the off season or during practice as far as drills with your hands?
Absolutely. I'm always doing. I did MMA, probably up until this last season. Boxing. You're always just working those kind of things. I think basketball is great for football players just because it works your hand-eye coordination, and I just like to play basketball.
Do you think you're a good player?
A good basketball player?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so that's what I'm just keeping in, because every NFL player thinks he's the best basketball player in the
I wouldn't
team.
say I'm the best, but I'll get out there and compete for sure.
Yeah.
Who's the best on your team right now?
I don't even know, actually. I think everybody, like he says, everybody thinks they're the best, and everybody does like the little shooting during the meetings and stuff, but like
Wagner's got some game.
I hear Wagner's good. I hear Cam Chancellor's good.
I've heard Keith Smith is actually really good.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys who are explosive. Paul Richardson's actually a really good player. He played in high school, but you got to get everybody on the court. It's probably not going to happen. Coaches probably don't even want us talking about basketball, thinking about basketball, playing basketball, doing nothing like that.
Pete will actually put the hoop up there and let you shoot. The first year I covered the Seahawks, it was 2005, and they used to train at Eastern Washington over in Cheney, and they had the Eastern team that year. They were really good. They went to the tournament, and there ended up being a pickup game that developed between the Seahawks and the Eastern team.
Yeah.
And for about 15 minutes, it was about one of the most spirited. Seneca Wallace could hoop. There was Corn Robinson was in there. And then the Seahawks coaches heard and came running in there and pulled everybody off the floor because they.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I was like, the coaches started playing.
No,
Right.
the coaches yanked them off because they saw about $20 million worth of their offense on the floor and said that we don't need anybody spraining any ankles.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
You mentioned MMA. Have you trained down there with Jay Glazier? And I'm trying to think if that's the right guy. When you've trained, when you've trained down there, what has that taught you about hand fighting and just in general toughness?
Boxing and the wrestling teaches you leverage and lower center of gravity and just, how to feel. It's body on body work. And boxing is great core, it's great hands and shoulders, and, allows you to, move quicker. And you know, as far as defensive line, it's totally different, but it does translate as far as, you know, hand quickness and hand-eye coordination, that type of thing.
Now that you're a pro, Cassius, and you know a lot of guys talk. I know in baseball they always talk about how a guy goes about his business. You know, but there's more than just going out and playing. As far as off the field stuff of managing, you know, yourself. You got to buy a house. You got to do all these things, and then also you got to take care of your body and you got to eat right. Talk about that development. Was that a big transition for you coming from college?
Well, not really. I mean, I'm very into health and fitness, so it's something that I enjoy and something that I look forward to. You know, some guys, you know, dread that every day, but I love getting up and working out and taking care of my body, putting the right things in them. That's something that I've developed, you know, since college, because you know, I used to be a little fat boy, but
Oh, really?
Come on.
He weighed 300 pounds when he was a freshman. Is
No
that right?
way.
Wow.
Did
So
you
were you
play
a
D
defensive
tackle?
tackle in
Yeah,
high
it was
school?
a three technique. I came out of high school. I was like 385. It was a good weight, you know. It wasn't bad, but end of my freshman year, we had this thing called late night, and it was just like snacks, like chicken nuggets and full pizzas and just like everything you could ever think of, like you wanted, you could have. And it was always it didn't start until 9:30. So you had dinner and then you went and got snack, and it was just so bad. So bad. I got.
Yeah, I think I put on 30 pounds my freshman year because I discovered this thing called beer. That and pizza. Yeah, so.
Yeah, that'll do that. Yeah.
So when you gained the weight, how heavy did you get?
I think the highest I ever got was 308.
Now, did you like playing at that weight, or did it become a conscious thing of like you want to move down? Because you see a lot of guys that will move inside. It's very rare that you see a guy who's an interior lineman end up losing the weight and going and playing outside.
Well, I didn't like lose the weight on purpose. I just was like, you know, change my diet and start eating better. I worked just as hard and ate just as much. I just was eating better things, and this is what my body had done. You know, I didn't try to lose all this weight, but I think it's, you know, I think my body is progressing the way it's supposed to.
What triggered you to decide to focus on better?
When I saw 308 on the scale.
See, maybe I need to look down at the scale a few times, have that sort of revelation.
Yeah, we go through that every day.
Sometimes you get a glimpse of yourself on a television or a video stream sometimes, right?
Yeah, that'll get you.
That's what gets us, yeah. Hey, you have a dog. Tell us your dog's name again.
Boss.
Boss.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a male, right?
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
male. Yeah, that's my son.
Pit bull,
Yep.
and that's your son?
That's my son.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you baby him?
Yeah, all the time. But I don't like when other people spoil him. I think like he gets spoiled enough. Well, I mean, he's a dog. I still treat him like a dog for the most part. But like my mom comes over, or my tattoo artist, his wife, absolutely loves Boss, and she's like a big, you know, dog person. She runs a nonprofit and does all kinds of stuff. So she just spoils him rotten with treats and walks all day. It's just too much. I can't.
And dogs can get fat too.
Yeah,
if you feed them too much.
That's why I don't like it. But his stomach, it messes his stomach up, so he ends up just getting rid of it all, you know.
So it's almost like a grandparent coming over, spoiling the grandkids.
Exactly, yeah.
basically.
My mom, yeah. It's like it's her grand dog, she says.
So you mentioned your tattoo artist comes over. So we're on radios. You've got a nice look of tattoos. How often are you getting tattoos, and how often is the artist coming over to figure something new for you?
I don't always get new things. I just sometimes right now I'm in the process of just redoing my left arm and making it exactly how I want it, and, you know, very clean, and you know, I like colors and stuff like that. So it's art for me. So you know, I really enjoy it. But my tattoo artist was just out here recently, so I don't. It doesn't happen often, but.
Do you come up with the design, or you just work with them?
It's something we do together.
Okay.
I take a lot of notes in my spare time and think of, you know, just thoughts that I have, things that are important to me, things that I think, you know, I should remember, or just, you know, things I like. You know, take notes about them and sit on it for a little while, and then, you know, if I like it for long enough, then I'll get a tattoo.
Now, is your tattoo artist from up here, or you fly him in, or how's that work?
He's from Boise. And I met him through one of my friends while I was in college. He actually played in the NFL for a while. His name Austin Pettis. He was a receiver for the Rams for a while.
I know Austin.
Yeah. He's a good friend. Our best friends went to college together. You know, small world, football world, small world. Anyways, I ended up getting tattooed by his artist at the time when I was in college, and then I just stayed with him the rest of the way.
We're talking to Cassius Marsh here, and your second year now playing with Pete Carroll, and I know from being down there you crossed paths with him when he was still coaching USC. What has it been like to play for him, and has he at all changed what you've thought of what football coaches can be and how they can coach?
I love Coach. Coach Carroll is he's a great coach. Obviously, he knows how to win, and he's very, very positive. He's always straightforward though. He tells you what he wants from you and what he wants. He's looking for you to improve, and he coaches hard, but he's definitely a player's coach. He takes care of us, and I feel blessed to be a part of this program.
Today, in his press conference, Earl Thomas took a poke at how old he thought Pete was. How old do you think Pete is?
I mean,
Am I putting you on the spot? Okay, well, I'll just tell you,
very nice.
you can't be worse than Earl, because Earl said he's 70 or 80.
nah, I definitely wouldn't have said 78 years. I'd say somewhere around in the 60 range, probably.
Yeah, he's like in his mid-60s, right?
Yeah, he's 64.
But it's amazing. He's the second oldest coach in the NFL. But you look at Pete. I mean, you would never guess.
Oh, he's
that.
super active, and the way he moves around, throwing the ball at practice every day, and jogging a little bit. He's got a ton of energy. He never stops going. So, I mean, he's doing great. Obviously, he's figured something out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about football now. Got Minnesota coming up. Last week's a great win, and I just come from the defensive side. You give up 30. There's a lot of yards, but that was a great win. You guys still feel good about that, even defensively. That they say, it's too many yards given up.
I think we go out there to try and get the W. Obviously you love to play better defense, but the other team, they get paid as well. They got 3 great receivers over there and one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And, they had a good day. But we had 4 turnovers, and that was the difference in the game. There might have been a lot of yards, but I think the turnovers definitely made up for it. So.
Is that because watching that game, and he's in the shotgun bend the whole time, and it's a one-step drop. I mean, ball's coming out, and you guys are still got to come off the edge. And how frustrating is that for a guy like you who wants to get to the quarterback?
Well, I mean, for any rusher, that's frustrating, but that's what you're trying to do to teams that rush well. You try and get the ball out quick and do a lot of screens and misdirection and. That's how teams have to play us sometimes, and you have to adjust. You have to win the game no matter what.
You mentioned the 4 turnovers. One of those interceptions coming from Big Tuba.
Yeah,
man, I love seeing that. He's been a really good player this year. Quietly, we haven't talked a lot about him, but man, I see him hustling to the sidelines, and I bet you guys had some fun with that because did he pull it off his shoulder pad almost?
Man, he was holding that ball like a loaf of bread. He was going though.
Yeah.
And he trucked somebody at the end there too. I mean, it was a ton of fun, man. It's always great to see anybody make plays, but he's one of the hardest working people. Nobody takes on a double team like Tu. I mean, he is a man in the middle, like a grown man, and he hustles and makes big plays. And I'm glad he came over to the Seahawks this year.
That matchup with the Steelers, you're probably going to face not much more of a polar opposite of any team than Minnesota. They want to run it, where Pittsburgh was content to throw it. Running the ball, kind of a challenge, a straight, direct challenge. Every defense I've known that's good, they take that as a source of pride that nobody's going to run on us. Are you guys excited for this?
Absolutely. You get excited for every game. I don't think, we overhype anything, but Adrian Peterson is obviously, the best back one of the best backs in the NFL right now, and he's having a great couple of games and really catching on the later of the season. But we're ready for the challenge.
Who's a guy on the team, Cassius, over the last couple of years that's really helped you as far as advice, kind of taking you under his wing and talking to you about how to play the game at this level?
Mike B's been great for me. I mean, he's always talking, so he had to say something good to me. But he says a lot of great things and tries to help me with my hands and things off the field, chef and trying getting your diet right and just everything, man. He's a great guy. Clips helped me on the field as well. Everybody all the vets on the D line try and teach you something, and you learn stuff from everybody, all the vets. Fred. Marshawn, just everybody's got something to teach, and every day, I feel privileged to just go into work and be able to soak in some knowledge. You learn something new every day.
It's been really fun to watch your career progress and really taking huge steps forward. I'm wondering if you can do me one favor before we let you off the stage. And it's this lovely lady, Teresa's birthday right here. It's Teresa Berg.
Happy birthday,
I'm wondering if
Teresa.
you can wish her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Teresa. I hope you have a great night.
It is. And let's everybody give a huge hand to Cassius Marsh coming
Thanks,
out here
Cassius.
on a Thursday night, giving us his time. I know we're going to be watching you on Minnesota on Sunday. Thank you very much,
No
Cassius.
problem, man. Thanks for having me.